Welcome, everybody, to 10 Minutes with Barb and Ron. I'm Ron Rogers with OCALI.
Ron, you still crack me up every time you introduce yourself. Barb Gentili Green here. It's so nice to be here. And it's exciting. We are trying so hard to have really super exciting guests on our show. And so I'm going to let Beth Stark introduce herself to the audience. So Beth, take it over.
Well, I'm the one that's excited to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's an honor. My name is Beth Stark, and I am joining you from Dresden, Germany, where I've lived since 2007. So it's been quite a while. And I am the co-chairperson of the UDL IRN Special Interest Group for Implementation. So that's how I know Ron. And I work very closely with my co-chair, Sherry Smith. And for 16 years, I was an International Baccalaureate secondary school learning support coordinator. So I'm pretty passionate about the International Baccalaureate and, of course, UDL.
Wow. Can you believe we have Beth? Barb, can you believe it?
No, and I can't imagine Beth and Sherry in the same room, like brainstorming and thinking, because both of them are so like energetic and brilliant with their ideas that it must just be an electric room to be in. So,
so actually, Sherry and I send chat messages all the time back and forth, and we definitely build on each other's energy.
Yeah, I think they're like sisters.
It's such a joy.
So Beth goes to Florida in the summer, Barb, and I think Sherry and I might go down and meet up with her.
That would be great. Yes, my folks live in Florida, and I travel there with my husband and my two boys every year for a big visit. And yeah, I would love to coordinate for all of us to be there at the same time. I sure wish I could have been in Orlando for the summit. I missed out, but maybe next time.
We missed out too.
Yeah, we did. So Beth, tell us a little bit about, first of all, how you kind of got on the UDL journey and then how it connects to IB.
Before I start, this is not a halo.
I thought it was. I thought you were an angelic figure.
No. Yeah, the light is just hitting me so, and I'm not sure what to do about it. So I hope that it's not affecting the contrast for anyone.
Looks great.
I think it looks great.
Oh, well, thank you. It's true natural lighting. That's what I can tell you. So, I always had a curiosity and an interest in going abroad and living abroad. So I kind of announced to my parents when I was 15 that I was set on becoming a foreign exchange student. And I found the program through Rotary, and I became a Rotary foreign exchange student and spent my time in Sao Paulo, Brazil, which was a huge adventure. And it just never left me. I just always had an interest in moving abroad, but I was equally interested and passionate about special education, and in particular, working with students who are blind and visually impaired. So I was lucky enough to go through a wonderful master's program. And then I hightailed it to Austin, Texas, where I was fortunate enough to be mentored by an amazing team and work closely with the Texas School for the Blind and Visually Impaired. And I was an itinerant teacher there. And that really sparked my interest and eventually my passion for assistive technology and, of course, UDL. But of course, at that time, UDL was more for me as an integrationist. I was working with classroom teachers to support learners in the general classroom setting. And most of the work that I did was to make sure that they had access to the curriculum and to kind of allay everyone's fears about having students who are blind and visually impaired. And I did a lot of direct training with those students on JAWS and, screen readers and Braille. And it was a really challenging adventure. So, and then after a few years, I got the itch and decided to teach abroad. And it was the best decision. I came here alone and, set up shop and met a lot of wonderful people and developed the actual department that didn't really exist in my school. And eventually it grew, and I got married to a great guy, had 2 wonderful children, and here we are. It's 2023, and my UDL journey never stopped. And now I'm excited to have a chance to spread the word and make sure that more people in the world of international education know about UDL and learn how to bring it alive in their classrooms.
So one of the things that we'll make sure we put in our show notes is you have a website.
I do. Yeah.
Tell us. So tell us about your website.
Well, it's not that high tech and fancy. I want to make it clear. There's lots of bells and whistles that are out there for building a website that I made a conscious choice not to use. Partly because when I built the website, I was very much focused on making sure that it was as accessible as possible. And so I used Core. So I tried my best to make sure that it was perceivable, operable, understandable, and robust, if anyone wants to demystify the POUR acronym. And I really tried to make sure there were multiple entry points, and it was really high contrast. And it was a great adventure to bring it to life.
And on that website, you have a great UDL choice board if folks want to learn a little bit more about UDL. And I was checking it out again this morning. I've checked it out before, but I was checking it out again today, and nicely done. And I love that you brought that, you're applying UDL to everything you're doing, right? So I love that you thought about that in the design of your website.
Yes, definitely. I think it's always a pursuit to reduce as many barriers as you can. One of the interesting things about accessibility guidelines is here in Europe, there are guidelines that are even more stringent than the World Content and Accessibility Guidelines. And they encourage and insist, I should say, that websites allow people who are using the website to give feedback to the person who owns it. So you'll see on my accessibility statement at the end, it says, if there's any issues with accessibility, please let me know and email me here. And I think that the spirit of that is really in keeping with UDL, that you're never done. And, learning through the iterative process and how to improve and reduce barriers is always the best way for the user or the learner. Yeah. Can I just add with the inquiry board, the inquiry choice board, I'm actually making a series. So that's the first one, which is access. And I wanted to bring multiple voices into the conversation about UDL. And since I'm based here in Germany, I wanted to make sure that all of the knowledge and experience that I've been able to tap into from the States is made available to people all over the world. And so I wanted to bring more voices in and show, different perspectives on what UDL looks like in practice. So I'm excited about my next one. I'm creating it right now. That's going to be the Build Inquiry Choice Board.
That'll be nice to see. I'm excited about that. Your background just amazes me. I'm sitting here and I'm still just in awe with all the things that you've done and with all your areas of expertise. And, your assistive technology background is going to help because Barb and I have a lot of friends, especially in Indiana, that are AT specialists with patents. And they're just going to love watching this and listening to another person with, that assistive technology background that also practices in universal design for learning. So I only have one question for you. And that is, do you see a difference between the way UDL is applied in the United States compared to where you're at in Germany?
That's such a great question, Ron. I would say the biggest difference is that Germany, and I love Germany, it's not a criticism.
We can tell.
Yes, it's a great place to be and to live. They have a very different idea of what inclusion looks like in public school settings. So when you're having conversations with people who have grown up in Germany, this idea of ownership and responsibility when it comes to reducing barriers, it is quite different.
Okay.
I would say the other big difference in, private international schools is many of those schools are very committed to concept-based inquiry. And so the way in which students are assessed and the way that curriculum is designed, it has a fundamentally different feel than schools, particularly in the States, but worldwide, that are focused on standards-based, such as the core curriculum. Yeah.
Okay, that'll really interest people to hear, I think. Barb,
that was a mouthful, sorry.
Barb, we're kind of out of time, but if you want to squeeze in one more question.
Oh, goodness. I could talk for another half hour. I just find it so intriguing. So you told us a little bit about that your next choice board is going to be around the build kind of level or layer of UDL. But where do you kind of see the future going for you with UDL and what you're trying to share with others?
Well, I am excited to be working with international schools now as a consultant and a strategist for inclusionary practices. I'm always going to be committed to learning supports. And I'm excited to see that the International Baccalaureate, which is a program I truly believe in, starting to really commit themselves to universal design for learning, not just encouraging teachers to use it, but declaring that it is the future. So that is, to me, a reason for so much hope and optimism for learners worldwide. So that's what I'm excited about for sure.
It's almost like we can just see and feel the momentum of UDL just growing. It's like that snowball that just keeps building and building, and it's just so exciting. So thank you for sharing that.
I imagine a flywheel. Like the more information, the more advocacy, and the more expertise that builds up over time, it's going to take on a life of its own eventually. We're getting there for sure.
We are.
Well, I'm amazed. I'm so happy that you were able to join us, Beth. Thank you so much. And
I'm so honored to have been here. Just 10 minutes. I could have talked for 20 more for sure. But thank you so much for the invitation. It was my pleasure.
Well, let's figure on revisiting with Beth another time, Barb, and Ron's out.
It's a great plan. And Barb is out.
I'm out too. Thank you.
Thank you.
YouTube, please subscribe, like, comment, and share.